Hey y'all, I was outside in my garden. It's a little bit later than I've been out here in the past couple of days. A little warm, so I need to work quickly. Wanted to show you what happened here. We had 1.5 inches of rain yesterday, and this is that dry spot where the thyme was in the middle. The thyme is still there. You can't tell it's still green because it's covered in mud. Yep. The dog dug holes in there. I tried to cover, as soon as I saw it. Scooped the mud back in place where it was before and look at the paw prints. Look at this. So, one thing, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I have no idea how I'm going to fix that. Another thing, I broke down a little box. This was in the house holding something. So I think some plants had come in it, and I had put some things in it and then stuffed it away in a corner and just discovered it. So I need to find a place for the things that were inside it, but I got the box. I'm going to put this over here in that area. Oh, and look, I found a big flower pot for the wood and things, and of course, you see what's happened to it. I'll prop it back up. But this is going over in here. So for the moment, I'm just going to put it right down on top of these feed bags, and I'll fix that later. What I need to do over here, now you can see the bricks and the heavy things that I put down in here. That was basically, it's not just junk. I mean, it looks like it, but the purpose of it was to hold down this cardboard until the animals forgot that it was cardboard, because they were tearing it up and the dog was playing with it and pulling it up. So I put things down on it just to hold it down. Now I think what I'm going to do, if not today, then very soon. Oh, got my shadow. Let me go around the other way. And we have chicken. This is Luna. You've seen Luna. She just figured out how to get in here. And she gets in and I pick her up and get her out. But anyway, this cardboard here. I have 2 loads of shredded, chipped, wood chips. Darn, my mind is gone. And I have 2 loads of wood chips that the power company has given me. So they're not completely decomposed at this point. They haven't composted enough, but they're okay for a walk. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get there's my little cart there. It's full of rain because, like I said, we got 1.5 inches. Let me show you the water gauge, the rain gauge. Here's my rain gauge right here. And look at that. Look how much rain we got. Well, right at 1.5 inches. It's just right below the 1.5 inch mark. That's how much rain we got. That's cool. So anyway, what I'm going to do is get the wood chips put down on here to make a little path. And I'll probably do the same thing over there on the other side. Eventually that'll decompose and this can become part of the garden. But for right now, it'll be a place that I can walk, because I don't know if I mentioned in a video yesterday maybe, but I think I'm going to take up this edging that I put in, because this right here, this area right along here was a little walk. Well, grass has grown in it, but I don't know if you can see under here. There we go. See, there's bricks. It's a brick walkway. Not the entire walk is brick, but along, parts of it. There's stepping stones, essentially. Brick stepping stones. And so that's going to be a job. And probably not a job for now. I may wait until late fall, winter, early spring, when I really can't do much else, and get those bricks up and then put them someplace else. I'll use them somewhere else. But then that would just make this entire path right in here, from over here on this edge, right in there, all the way over there. That would make another bed. something to plant in. This is not a real good spot. The ground slopes from here down into there, and which is the reason I put in these things, the edging, the garden edging in there to begin with, was to keep all the dirt from washing in here and covering up these stepping stones. Now, if I had a weed eater, a string trimmer, I could clean that up pretty good. But since the carpenter made my post, the post is right in the middle of the beginning of this walkway. So if I wanted to continue to use that, what I would need to do would be to come out into here, into the middle of this bed to make the walk. I might as well just come on over here on this side of it, and then come right in here where I've got stepping stones. You can't see them right now, they're covered up pretty much. This one right there. The meadow's growing over it, so I'll probably change the location of them a little bit. And put some of those bricks that I will dig up from there and put them in here to make a walkway back over to this gate. Or not the gate. I don't think it's going to be a gate at this point. Right now it's a little gate to keep the dog in the backyard, since I'm not finished with the gates and the things in this part of the yard. But once I finish putting up the gates in this part of the yard, then I'll be able to leave these open. There'll be no reason to have these shut anymore if there's a gate completely enclosing the rest of the yard. Now what I could do, and I may have to do if there's a problem with the dog in the garden, I could continue over here and come through this way. Walk through my herbs. But what I could do is where I have put this T-post in right here for my cucumbers, I could easily put in another T-post in the middle here and connect it to that trellis, and that would enclose this part of the garden. Where's that? That's going to call for another gate of some kind. It doesn't have to be great. I mean, I could even use this piece of fencing right here. I mentioned before, is the reason this fencing is up here was to protect these cucumbers. The chickens were pulling up the cucumber seedlings as they were coming up, so I had to do something to keep them in place and to keep the chickens out, and I did pretty well. But it doesn't look like there's as many as I had. They must have eaten some of them. And I know there were some more over here on this end outside of this, where you can see where I actually tied this together with a piece of Virginia creeper stem. And there's one cucumber right there that did not get eaten. And that's a little cherry tomato here that I need to get a stake for. So that's my plan for today. And I've got out here on the porch, or out here on the steps. Walk over here. Okay, here's my some more of the morning glory seeds. I mentioned in yesterday's video that I was going to plant some more of the morning glory seeds over here on this arbor, and I decided to go ahead and do it. So I soaked some more seeds last night, put them in this little custard cup, added a little water, and they totally took up the water. There's a word for it, is imbibe. See that fork? That came, cutlery. That came with a set with a sharp knife. And I am going to use that as a garden tool. I saw that somewhere a long time ago and had forgotten that tip. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to use my long kitchen fork as a garden tool. I think it'll be perfect. There you go. There's a tip for the day. So those are going to go on both sides, on either side of that arbor. I'll come into this flower bed over here on the left side, into the soil on that side of it, and do the same thing on the other side where the phlox is blooming, well, where that daylily is blooming, but where there is phlox right there by by that arbor. So I'll come in on that side and plant some of the daylilies there too. Well, I've tried planting them in the middle, and that doesn't work. It has to be in the soil over there. I mean, even though that is dirt in the middle, it just doesn't work for some reason. And if there's any left over, I'll put them back over here on this fence before where I put the other ones. Now, I need to clean up upright that flower pot, put the stuff back in it, and hope the dog doesn't turn it over again. I had one more question. Okay, you see this is my fire pit right here that has been dismantled by the dog. There's 6 pieces. You see here there's 4. Okay, there's this one, there's 5, and there's that one there. There's 6 pieces to make a hexagon shape. Now, every time the dog wraps this chain around it, or not the chain, it's just a tie-out lead, but it wraps it around it and totally tears it up. So, I don't know where to put it. And I'm thinking about, instead of, well, I could put it right back where it was. I could move it just, I don't know whether to leave it in this area right here by the back door, which I like that idea, because this is really my patio area. Even though there's grass in it, this is basically my patio area. And I would like to have that fire pit right here. Now, how do I keep the dog from tearing it up, is the question. And what I'm thinking about doing is putting it up, but before I do it, because, before I do anything else, it'll tear it down again, is go to the hardware store and get a piece of rebar and have them cut the rebar into, say, foot-long or 18-inch long pieces, and get enough pieces to put around this metal. Oh, I've got one of these in upside down, I see. It's supposed to look like fire. That one's upside down. I guess it doesn't matter. But anyway, so that's the plan I'm thinking, is to get rebar and then pound in rebar up to the same level as these metal pieces. I don't want it to be sticking out because that would be dangerous. But pound it in right to that level, or maybe even a little bit lower, around this. And that would, on the outside of it. So if the dog wrapped his lead around it again, he would be wrapping the lead around the rebar that's pounded into the ground, instead of into these metal sheets. And I think that'll keep it in the ground. If you guys have any better ideas, would you please let me know, because I'm getting ready to do this pretty soon, within the next couple of days at least. I'm using this to burn paper. I mean, there's little cardboard, and I burn my mail, things like that I don't want, rather than putting in the trash. So I need to have this back in place again. So let me know, please. I would appreciate that. So that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead before it gets too hot. I'm going to get those morning glory seeds planted, and then I'm going back inside to do some other stuff. Bye, y'all. See you next time.